Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Steve again, Harmless Rebel. Time for another vinyl update. This is going to be a MoFi update. Not all of these are new. Some of them I've had sitting in my inbox or my stacks over here. One of them for at least a year. So decided to, I'm trying to get everything organized. You can see in the background, and I mentioned before, I just redid my office here. Painted it, new furniture, everything. And I'm trying to get everything organized and put away. So a lot of the stuff in my inbox, I'm trying to get through and decide whether it's going to go into my collection. If not, get rid of it. I had a bunch of MoFi sitting around, as well as a few that I recently bought. So I wanted to just do a quick video and go through some of them, give you guys an idea of what's worth buying, what's not worth buying. All that good stuff. On the mobile Fidelity front, I've kind of got past the whole thing about them lying to us. Obviously, I mentioned in the video I did on the whole MoFi controversy that it's kind of been known for a while that they've been lying to us about the source material, just because a lot of the original masters for these are not available and haven't been available, even some since the 70s. So you know, the whole original master recording thing, I've always thought MoFi was questionable. The whole digital thing, I wasn't expecting it, like everybody else. I will say, you know, most of the discussions we've heard online have been people within the industry, you know, the Kevin Grays, guys that specialize in high-end analog only mastering. So I saw a couple of videos that didn't get as many views from other guys who are well-known mastering technicians who do both vinyl and CD, and they talk pretty highly of DSD and learning about you know, people or something that's not mentioned with the original masters. Every time an original master is run, it loses a little bit of quality. It may not be noticeable, but over time, the masters go bad too. And I watched a great video with a really big name mastering tech. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he works for some of the biggest labels, and he was saying that the reason that all of these labels are going to moving their digital or their masters to DSD is because of the quality of it. And if you use the right machine, you can hear stuff and get stuff from those original masters that can't be picked up on analog recordings. Now, I'm not a professional, an expert on this. I'm just going by what these guys are saying. But the guys that aren't, the ones I've found most interesting are the guys that aren't hardcore in the digital camp or the analog camp. And one of them was saying we're only a few years away from everything being coming from a DSD master, just for the simple fact that the original masters are breaking down. A lot of them are 50, 60, 70 years old, and they're just not going to hold up. And a lot of them have already been copied thousands of times, you know, and I may be exaggerating. Maybe it's 100 times, but still, every time you run that master, it's tape. And it degrades. A little bit of the chromium oxide, chromium dioxide falls off the tape every time it's run. So anyway, the DSD thing, it doesn't bother me, especially when you start listening to some of these releases. Now, everything Mobile Fidelity is releasing doesn't sound amazing, and that's the difference between them and Analog Productions. Analog Productions, every album I've heard, the mastering is absolutely fantastic. And I'm wondering how much of that is selective, you know, whereas MoFi is releasing some stuff where maybe the masters didn't sound that good to start with. I can think of Derek and the Dominoes. I've had an original first pressing. I've had 5 or 6 of the best pressings of the Derek and the Dominoes album, and I don't think it's ever sounded good. It doesn't sound bad. It's just not a great pressing, and even the audiophile pressings of it have never been impressive to me. So I'm wondering if maybe they just don't have that perfect master to start with. They don't work with it at all. You know, there a couple others that come to mind are Anagata Devita. I've never thought from Iron Butterfly. I've heard multiple audiophile pressings of that too, and that's never sounded good to me. So I'm wondering how much just is that Mobile Fidelity is pressing albums that didn't sound that great to start with. So regardless, let's just kind of jump in. We'll start off with one that I really liked, and then we'll show some that I didn't. So this is one that I did just get in within the last month. This is Sorcerer from Miles Davis. For the longest time, I wasn't into any of the 60s or 70s Miles Davis, and I've really been getting into it. And this I believe this was the third Miles Davis quartet, but this is really the second big name quartet that he had. Is it quartet or quintet? I can't remember. But this is the lineup that features Tony Williams on drums and Wayne Shorter, Herbie Hancock, and Ron Carter. This is slowly becoming my favorite Miles Davis lineup. Tony Williams drums on this era of albums are absolutely phenomenal. There's so much space in there, and they sound so good. All of these Miles Davis Mo-Fi presses I've gotten are phenomenal, and I was really blown away by this. I've been listening to this one quite a bit. Also, I believe there's a couple more Miles Davises in here. Yeah. So I believe these are both from the same era too. So we've got Kilimanjaro, Phillies Day Kilimanjaro. Let's see if it says, I believe this is, yep, same guys. Another just fantastic album. I had never heard this one before. I listened to this one quite a bit. Really digging this one. This one's going to be in the rotation for a little while. And then this one, I never hear anybody talk about ESP. This was not a new one to me. The second Miles Davis album that I bought was an early reissue. It's like a 71 or 72 reissue of this one, which was from 65. But I really, really dig this album. I've always liked this one. And like I said, this is one that I just never see anybody talking about. Really happy to have this one, and it really does sound amazing. They did just the Dylan and the Miles Davis Mo-Fis. I haven't heard one that doesn't blow away any other pressing of any of those albums that I've ever heard. So let's see. Next up, we started talking about Dylan. Let's jump in on a little bit of Dylan. I don't think I have a lot here. This is also my favorite era of Dylan. This is his kind of country rock phase. Really happy to finally, this is the last one of the country rock era that I didn't have. So Nashville Sky, just an absolutely fantastic album. Another one that just doesn't get this whole era. This, John Wesley Hardin, and there's one more. I can picture the cover. It's like a brown cover with him on it, a profile of him. I can't think of the name of it though. This era is just absolutely phenomenal. I'm also a country rock fan, so that has a lot to do with it as well. But another fantastic pressing. And this one was just released. I believe you can still get this one on their website. This is one that was limited to 3,000. And this is Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid. I really dug this. I had never, I've seen this in stores, 100 times over the years. But went ahead and grabbed it. This one, whereas the other ones are 45 RPM, this one's 33 RPM. I think it's $35. And it's getting to the point now, I tell you what, people complain about the price of Mobile Fidelity pressings. They're 33 RPMs. The original master recording series are, I believe, 35 to 39, brand new. It's 59 for the 45, the double 45 RPM. And it's like 29 or 30 for the ones that say Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs, the Silver Series, which I haven't seen many of in the last couple of years. A lot of these albums, you're going to pay more than that for original pressings. So with the vinyl getting expensive as it is, the price points have stayed relatively the same on some of these analog or audiophile pressing. So it's not as big a stretch as it used to be. Now this one, you can probably get this in a used bin for 10-12 bucks, but still, it sounds killer. I mean, it's instrumental country for the most part. You got Knocking on Heaven's Door, and then the Billy 1 through 4 or Billy 1 through 7 have vocals as well. It's fantastic and great movie if you haven't seen that, by the way. I guess we'll keep the country going because I really wish, I hope to see more. So these are not the first country releases. I believe they're the first country releases on vinyl. I could be wrong that MoFi's. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, let's show one more Dylan. I also went ahead and pulled this one out and spun it. This is the Blonde on Blonde, the 3 45 RPM LPs. They did do a price increase on this. When this originally came out, I think it was $69. May have been $79, and I believe it's $99 now. But they're not out of print. You'll see more of these pop up at some point. Let's see, as I was saying about the country. Now, I know on CD back in the day, back in the 80s, they did some Merle Haggard. And I take that back. They did Willie Nelson in the 90s, I believe. They did one of the Willie Nelson albums. So I really hope to see more country, though. First up is I Walk the Line. This one's actually an upgrade. So this was limited to 3,000, and they sold out in pre-sale. I did get a copy. However, my copy came with a seam split right here. It wasn't a huge one, but and I contacted MoFi, and they had sold out. They had no copies. They had no extra jackets. So they gave me, I think they gave me like 10 or 15 bucks back. I don't remember what it was. But they gave me the option. They would either refund the money and I could send it back to them, or they would give me a partial refund and I could keep it. And I really wanted it because it sounds amazing. I mean, this is basically a greatest hits. I mean, I Walk the Line, Folsom Prison, Hey Porter, Wreck of the Old 97, Troublesome Waters, just Big River, fantastic. So I went into my local store. This was right after all of the, all the news broke about MoFi. Apparently one of my local record stores who deals in MoFi, they have a huge audiophile selection. They were holding stuff back to sell later on as the prices went up. And they decided to dump everything that they had held back for suggested retail price. So they didn't jack up the prices. So even though these are going for, even now, 80, 90 bucks, they had it for the 59. So I grabbed this, and then I was able to sell the copy I had with the seam split for more than, what I paid for it. So happy to have that one. And then they absolutely killed it. This one just came out a couple weeks ago. The debut, Storms of Life from Randy Travis. I really hope to see more of this. This thing sounds fantastic. It's a 33 RPM, so it was at the $35, $39 price point. My number is 339. I don't know if you can see that one. So I really hope to see more country like this. What I would really like to see is them do some stuff that's not already on vinyl. There's so much stuff from the late 80s and early 90s that was just never pressed to vinyl, that I would love to see some of these audiophile companies press. I don't know that, let me see if it's got they got the new sticker on here now. So yeah, I guess this was an analog master. So analog to DSD to analog. Highly recommend getting this one though while you can. It is fantastic. And then a couple, before we go there, Duke Ellington. This is one that was on sale at my local store. This is live at Newport. I guess this is kind of a transition period. Jazz, still a little bit of swing, but not as swing as his early stuff. I read somewhere, maybe it was on here, that this kind of reinvigorated his career. I like the earlier stuff from Duke Ellington. I do like some of the swing stuff. It's not something I listen to all the time. but I do like some of it. And this is kind of not really swing, not really. This is 56, I think, right? Yeah, 56. So it's not quite bop, not quite swing, just kind of in the middle. It's good. It's not something I'll listen to that much, but I think I paid like $22 for it. So, and again, this is that Silver Series, the MoFi Sound Labs. And I've got a few one steps to show. Before we get there, though, I'll show a couple that I'm not as big a fan of. This is one of them where I wonder if they even had a good master to start with, because I believe this one was all analog. Yeah, so this one was all analog when they did it. But I'm wondering if they just had a bad analog master to start with, because this definitely sounds better than any pressing that I've had. This is Full for the City from Foghat. Absolutely amazing album. I mean, Slow Ride is one of the biggest songs of the last 50 years. I don't think anybody doesn't know that song, even people that didn't grow up listening to rock. Fantastic album, though. But, and it, I hear people complain about how bad it sounds. It doesn't sound bad. It sounds good. It doesn't sound like a audiophile pressing, And like I said, it does sound better. I had a really nice original Bearsville pressing of this that was in mint condition. This blows that one away. So this is one, I mean, if you get it for a good price, if you get it for under $30, I think it's worth it. I don't think I'd spend more than that for it. And then another one that it's not bad. It didn't blow me away, and it definitely didn't deserve the treatment that it got. So this was one of the first, I think they did Desire from Dylan first, but this was one of the first, actually they did the Dylan, and then they did the Iron Butterfly, which again shouldn't have got the super vinyl treatment. But this is another one that was done on super vinyl. This is El Dorado from ELO. I really like ELO. People have given me crap about that for as long as I've been doing vinyl videos. I've always liked ELO. This one, it sounds better than the original pressing. Again, I have a really nice original pressing of this. It sounds way better than that. It doesn't sound good enough that it should have got the super vinyl treatment. And the super vinyl sounds amazing. Don't get me wrong. That's one thing I really like about the one steps. And you can see the super, I don't know if you can see it, that it's clear. There you go. You can kind of see it in the window right there. Super quiet. The analog or the RTI super vinyl blows away I can't remember what the UHQR vinyl is called for analog productions, but it's not quiet. This stuff blows that away. It sounds way better than the UHQR vinyl that Analog Productions is using. But this is just not at that level that it should have gotten. This should have been, it's 33 RPM. It should have been a $35 album. It shouldn't have been $59 or whatever the super vinyl costs. I believe it was $59. It is 33 RPM. It does sound fantastic. It doesn't sound $60 fantastic, and it should have just got the regular vinyl treatment. There's so many amazing albums, the Dylans, the Miles, that are totally worthy of the super vinyl. Is it super vinyl? I believe it is. Yeah, super vinyl. So this one is not one, unless you're, like I said, I really like ELO, and this is actually my favorite ELO album. So this is one I really wanted. Unless you're like me and you really dig this band, this isn't one I'd recommend it either. Now, last but not least, a couple of the one steps. So first, I've bought all of the Eagles one steps. The Eagles is a favorite band of mine. My whole family, we've always been into the Eagles. My great aunt, it was her favorite band, and they were always playing when I was a kid. She lived with us for a number of years, and I've just always loved the the Eagles, sorry. So I was really excited when they announced the one steps for these albums. The other one, there were a few more I'm still excited to get. I missed a few of them. I really wanted the Yes. I'm still disappointed I didn't get that one. And I wanted the Blood on the Tracks. And both of those I had the opportunity to buy, and I second guessed it, and then now the prices have gone through the roof. These you can still get reasonable. I believe the two newest are still in print. The debut, I never showed it in the video, but it's over in the collection. The Eagles self-titled album is one of the best. The One Step is one of the best sounding records I've ever heard. I mean, it sounds absolutely amazing. I heard so many things in that album that I have never heard before, and I have heard that album 100 times, probably more. I've probably heard it 1,000 times in my lifetime. There's banjo and some other stuff that I've just never noticed, and I've got them in CD. I had original pressings. I have Japanese pressings, and it's just not there, and it just sounds beautiful. This one doesn't sound as good, but it's pretty damn close. And this is also one of my favorite Eagles albums, and it's Desperado. Desperado and Duel Dalton both sound fantastic on here. Man, these Eagles, I highly recommend grabbing. If you don't grab any of the other one steps, these are worth grabbing. This is my least favorite of the Eagles albums. It still sounds great, but this one, I don't have the experience. This has never been my favorite album. I like it, don't get me wrong. But this is the one I've listened to the least. So there were not as many standout moments in this one as there were in the other albums, just because I know them so well. And then I've been listening to this for the last few days nonstop. One of these nights, man, this thing sounds amazing. Again, this and the debut are both on another level. Just absolutely amazing. There's nothing even close out there that sounds even close to these. Again, highly recommend picking these. If you don't pick up, if you're only going to get one or two, I'd recommend this one and the debut. And it's funny, I also I've been on the big, I mentioned it earlier with Dylan, I've been listening to a lot of country rock. And I never, it's funny, I was listening to the debut, and I had just been listening to Graham Parsons the week before. And it's funny, I never noticed how much especially their first album, but their first couple albums sound like Graham Parsons. Sound like, I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. I didn't realize at the time, or I'm sorry, not Graham Parsons, but specifically Flying Burrito Brothers. I didn't realize at the time that one of the guys, I'm drawing a blank and I got to look his name up. Starts with an M. Is it Meisner? Oh, man. Is it Randy Meisner? Yeah, Randy Meisner. See, it's not even him that I was thinking of, is it? No, it's Bernie Leadon. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so it's funny. I didn't realize that one of the original Eagles, Bernie Leadon, was in the Flying Burrito Brothers. So it kind of all makes sense that those first couple albums do have kind of that feel to it. But and if you haven't checked out the Flying Burrito Brothers, oh my God, those first two Flying Burrito Brothers. If you're into country rock, 70s country, a little bit of psych to it, garage, definitely check out the Flying Burrito Brothers or that Bird, Sweetheart of the Rodeo. I may do a video on Graham Parsons as a whole at some point, because man, his story or his legacy, the legacy that he left in his few short years is phenomenal. Anyway, that's it. before I start going on other tangents. So that's it, guys. Some stuff to check out. Some of this is still available. A lot of it is still in print, whether it's available or not. You can pre-order it, and when they print it, you'll get it. I've done that a couple of times. I've done that with all the Eagles albums through Hotel California. Really looking forward to that one. And then that may be it for me. I may not buy that last Eagles One Step because it's not my favorite, but definitely getting it at the Hotel California. That's it, guys. I hope everybody's good. I will see you soon. Take care.